31. Welcome to the February 26, 2025 Parks and Recreation Commission meeting. This is a hybrid meeting with commissioners, city staff, and members of the public participating at the Olympia Family Recreation Center. In accordance with public health guidelines for in-person meetings and members of the public participating remotely, I'd like to introduce the commissioners and staff present. Recreation and Parks Commissioners present, Commissioner Kevin Dawkins, Commissioner Dawn Evans, Commissioner Joshua Crass, Vice Chairman Wonman Lee, Commissioner Michelle Sherman is not here, Commissioner Justin Van Buren, and myself, Chair Peter Josh. Staff present include Library and Community Services Director Sean Reinhardt, Library and Community Services Assistant Director Nick Zegner, Library and Community Services Supervisor Tricia Marlin, Management Analyst Ashley Ward. Ashley will be helping facilitate the meeting. Ashley, will you please take a moment to provide instructions to the Commission and members of the public on how the meeting will proceed?
The members of the public who are attending this meeting virtually and wish to provide public comment, I can share calls with public comment on the items you wish to speak on. Please engage the raise hand feature at the bottom of your screen. For those who are calling in from a landline or cell phone, please press *9 to engage your virtual. For members of the public attending in person, their seats are available on the table and staff will have comment If there are large number of public commenters, the timer will be adjusted by the chair in order to allow everyone a chance to comment. When you turn to public comment to the right, back on the
Under public comment, the public may address the Commission on any subject that is not listed on the agenda. Each speaker may address the Commission once under public comment for a limit of 3 minutes. Please clearly state your name and address the political jurisdiction in which you live. The Commission cannot act on any items not on the agenda. Therefore, the Commission cannot respond to non-agenda issues brought under public comment, other than to provide general information as we do in public comments.
Are there any public comments for items not on the agenda?
Next is item D1, approve the minutes from the November 20th, 2024 and January 2022-2025 meetings. Ashley, do we have any public comment on this item?
Are there any public comments on items 1?
Okay, I need a motion to approve and a second.
Motion to approve.
All second.
There's a motion on the floor.
Approved.
Approved.
Approved. Item D1, Department Statistics and Recent Activities. Staff will make a brief presentation to begin the session.
Yes, if there's any public comment on C1, no public comment. Great, so I'll go ahead and take that, Chair. So with the Department of Statistics and Recent Activities, we do have some updates. For marketing and outreach, we are now including that data in the reports each month, and that's regarding the email engagement data and from our weekly newsletters. Additionally, we have senior center themed lunches included in the data. Each of the events that are themed for lunches, that data is included in the monthly data as far as the attendance counts go. Library circulation corrections, just kind of taking a step back here, staff detected some corrections that were necessary. There were some duplications in circulation statistics, approximately 10% overage in that data, and the data has been corrected this month. Library Commission recruitment, we do have 1 vacancy in the Library Commission, and the term is expiring April 30th, 2027, and the appointments are tentatively scheduled for February 25th. City Council Priority Setting Workshop is coming up Saturday, March 22nd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Residents input is sought for fiscal year 2025 to 2026 priorities. Last year's 4 priorities were climate action, emergency and disaster preparedness, housing, and safe routes. Yes.
Pause on that one. I just wanted to reiterate that the city council each year and the preparation for city budget process, which the new budget takes effect July 1st. They do this priority setting workshop, and as you can see on the screen, it's on Saturday, May 22nd. But right now they have a survey out into the field for residents to respond and give like residents' thoughts about what they think priorities should be for the city in the coming year. And especially as commission members, you're really encouraged to respond to that. They're seeking responses by, I think, March 7th. So please do, if you have a moment, only takes a few minutes. Your input's really appreciated.
Okay, so moving on to fall 2024 customer satisfaction survey. So after each season of classes, we do deliver a survey out to each of the participants via email. The information gathered from the survey helps us, is in regards to quality and customer service, and it helps us kind of look at areas for improvement. The fall 2024 survey had about 140 participants, 2,087 responses, and 87 general comments. The feedback overall was positive and is in reference to quality of instruction, overall experience, registration process, facility conditions, and types of classes involved. The key takeaways for fall are that the overall satisfaction with customer service is high, about 85 to 90% reporting very satisfied or somewhat satisfied. For approachability, helpfulness, courtesy, and professionalism. Responses of very satisfied in the areas of participant safety is about 89%, and facility cleanliness and equipment quality 83%. And then we had responses from 81 to 88%. Were very satisfied for instructor knowledge, delivery style, content, and environment of the class that was created. Additionally, the Green Building Award, so Belhaven Community Campus was awarded the Green Building Award for 2025. It was an honorable mention from Sustainable San Mateo County and the American Institute of Architects San Mateo County chapter. This all-electric facility runs on solar power on site, backup battery storage, and is resilient during outages. It generates more power than it uses, and it cuts energy about 55%. There's extensive EV charging. It makes it easier for residents to access community resources for their vehicles, and all-electric design also helps improve local air quality by eliminating the need for natural gas. City Council change in Belhaven pool hours. Just an informational report was delivered to City Council. The report was delivered February 11th, and that's from recommendations from the CRC from January 22nd. There's a temporary suspension of the minimum operating hours is required in the the agreement. And then the changes of hours happened starting February 14th.
Let's pause there. I just want to really take a moment to acknowledge and thank the Parks and Recreation Commission. They made that recommendation to the City Council. We did act on the minimum hours right away. City Council did receive that informational report on February 11th, as Tricia just mentioned, and they had no comments or questions about it. However, they were aware that we would be bringing back to the City Council the full annual report, and also some of the other recommendations that the Parks and Rec Commission put forward, such as increasing the fees, so that will be part of that item. Also potentially waiving the revenue share payment that the operator is obligated to provide, and to do some other things, in particular around rental fees. So that those additional recommendations are going to the City Council on March 11th, which is yesterday, and it will include those fee adjustments to the class fees, as well as a recommendation to waive the revenue share. So just again, we want to thank the PRC, and we will send that staff report to City Council to you all, so you can look at it when it comes out. And, when we get to the agenda planning, we may want to revisit the topic at the March meeting, just kind of debrief on what the city council, directed and just to talk about what it needs to be applied.
Topic, synthetic and natural turf. So we're kind of in the preliminary research phase of this. Staff is just looking at the benefits and drawbacks of both options and looking at some specific studies from various organizations. A study from April 2024 concluded that there's no significant difference in chemical exposure between players of synthetic turf and natural grass turf, and that's from the EPA, Center of Disease Control, and the Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry. It was also found that synthetic turf installation may be connected to environmental concerns that could later impact human life, and that was done by California Department of Toxic Substances. Synthetic turf Council has emphasized the benefits of synthetic turf in terms of extended playtime, water conservation, and consistent playing conditions. There's mixed preference from community input during previous discussions regarding Neon and Kelly Park that kind of weighed the pros and the cons of synthetic turf. And staff will continue to do the research to come back to the PRC tentatively in June on this topic. Finally, just some notable community events that happened and are coming up. We did conduct a teen college and career fair at Belhaven, January 25th. Black Liberation Month celebration happened at Belhaven on February 8th. Additional Black History Month events occurred February 10th, 12th, and 28th. Telling stories of Mexican California now through March 30th. And additional exhibits are happening February 10th, 25th, and March 12th. And that concludes the report.
Thank you, Tricia. Sean, actually, do we have any public comment on this? Previously. Okay, this item is closed for public comment. Do any members of the commission have questions or comments on this particular item? I'll ask, which two fields are the next to be resurfaced? Which two fields?
Which two fields?
Yeah.
Here in Melbourne?
Yeah.
It's just Kelly Park that we're looking
That's
at
right.
right now.
And what's the time for that again?
Right now, we're looking, targeting fall to get that started. Previously we thought that we'd get started, even in fall last year. However, there is a little bit of a delay, not related to that project, but adjacent to Kelly Park, there is a parking lot. And as you know, it's next to the Belhaven Community Campus.
Right.
That parking lot, as part of the Belhaven Community Campus project, is to have additional solar carports installed in that parking lot. And there's been a delay in getting those carports installed. And before the carports go in, we get to the carports before we do that.
If there are no further commission questions, we'll move on to item E1, which is the technical agenda. That will make a brief presentation on that. You want to fill out the agenda?
I think we just want to put it on the screen and talk through the items.
And today, March 26th, we have some presentations coming up from the department. We have the Youth Advisory Committee coming up to do a presentation. We have large scale community events coming up in March. And then we want to review the draft of the analysis or the survey that's going to come out for the public, the Recreation Community Program Survey. Thank you, Ashley. In April, we're looking at a presentation from Sports and Outdoor Recreation tentatively. We want to review the field allocation process, and then pickleball fall and feasibility studies in April. May, presentation from VHCC 1 year later, and then review, recreation and the survey. After we take a look at the survey tool, then we'll come back with the survey results.
And that meeting, I think, would be a joint meeting with the library commission, and we propose that one would be at the Belhaven Community Campus.
June 2025, are we ready to move into June? We're gonna be looking at gymnastics presentation. We're gonna be selecting the chair and vice chair for the PRC, and then onboarding potential new commissioners. And then July, let's see, prepare for the PRC work plan coming up. And then additional research will come back tentatively about the synthetic turf versus turf. August, prepare a report to the city regarding the PRC work plan, and then recommend the PRC work plan. September, the CAPRA accreditation will come back just as a program update and report out. And then October, Parks and Recreation Facility Master Plan review, so that's coming back around. November, approve the PRC 2026 meeting calendar, and then we're looking into December as the year in review and open house. And then we have various topics that are in this.
Go ahead. Actually, do we have any public comment?
Do you have any other comments?
Okay, thank you. That public comment is closed, and the floor is now open to questions and comments from the commission.
We're gonna review the aquatics. We made a bunch of suggestions. Remember earlier you talked about how one was implemented. Are we gonna talk about that again, or?
The final.
Yeah,
And I think Sean actually is going to council on March 11th.
okay, and we'll debrief after that.
Yeah, so it would seem that we want to add that to the March item here, the March meeting. So on the tentative agenda, I think we can, there's agreement here, but we'll bring that back in March, and we'll debrief on the changes to the aquatic fees, whatever direction council may give. So I'll add that to March.
And then given that we agreed to a lot of, or we suggested a lot of changes, do you think that like perhaps later in the year we should like get another, have him come back and just talk about like, did it go well? Or how did the?
Yeah, good suggestion. And Trish, please feel free to jump in if you think otherwise. But off the top of my head, probably near the end of the summer season would be the right time, because the summer is really where it kind of bleeds out in the year. So maybe we can kind of, it's always helpful to track. So, maybe September is that right time?
Yeah.
We can look into this.
How to
September.
changes and potential impact to operations.
Especially because we'll see the data from Belhaven after having been.
Mhm.
I had a question, aside from that was, do we have any renovation projects or capital projects in terms of, parks? Scheduled for this year? I know many were completed last year. I haven't heard of any this year.
Yeah, so for me, that's a great question. The Public Works Department really is kind of in the lead on the various projects through the capital improvement plan. But it does seem like it's time to come back and give the PRC an update. The capital improvement plan typically each year is presented to the city council as kind of part of the budget process. Usually it's around the April timeframe that Public Works starts putting that together. So just sort of looking at the calendar here, knowing that May is the joint meeting, that's really kind of just about the first year of operations, maybe April would be the right time frame for that, because then we'll have the latest and greatest from Public Works. And I say that because I know that Public Works has had to start like moving some projects around and reprioritizing them, like the Kelly Park turf renovation I just mentioned. So it would be good to give them a bit of time to kind of redo that prioritization. And they've also had some key staff member turnover, like at the management level, that they're actively filling. So, might be, good timing in April, if that is something everyone kind of feels would be helpful.
Yeah, and actually in conjunction, having them, give their opinion on synthetic turf versus natural turf, given that they're likely to be the ones maintaining it, it's kind of a good start.
Absolutely.
So I don't know if that would take place in July, maybe show in July or do a brief report.
Yeah, I think we'll make sure that that topic is part of the April discussion, in particular, because one of the projects is Kelly Park, so we can spend some time in the update, and that's the big project, it's Kelly. We can talk a little bit about the turf, in that context, and then again, bring it back in July with the research.
Also, another topic, I ran into another constituent who, had some questions about striking on the tennis courts at Willow. And, whether that was still under consideration.
Constructive pickleball.
Yeah.
Wondering, so if it would be helpful if that individual could put them in contact with staff, and we could help by sort of answer their specific question. I think it is maybe subject for a bigger discussion about tennis and pickleball courts throughout the city, which right now we have tentatively coming up in a couple months in April. So we could talk about it in more detail there, but if there's like a specific question, which currently, there is not, those sports are not programmed for pickleball.
Sure.
So that will be the discussion. Should we convert those to dual use? It's something that we probably don't want to unilaterally do. We need to have a big discussion.
Yeah, I just remember we discussed it, many times last year. Now with summer around the corner, as you said, demand is gonna be picking up and likely there'll be disrupted. Asking for capacity, vice versa, tennis players as well, so I'm hoping to do something there. I'm sorry, that being.
Yeah, it's definitely, and I'm actually now remembering too, that when the Willow Oaks Park tennis courts were newly resurfaced, there were some folks putting tape down onto the court surface, which the parks supervisor and public works, basically advised to do that because the residue, gets on the tennis court. But so if there's that need, then we talk about striking for dual use. We've had mixed results with that when we tried it at Milan. It might be a different situation with Willow Oaks. So yeah, a very good conversation to have in April. And if there's a determination to add some striking, that can be done in fairly short order, in time for them.
Yeah, I just want to add a little perspective from some of the tennis players, get to the striking, become difficult to play tennis with that many strikes on the court.
Yeah.
So they'll want to have ways, but there's other alternatives. You can actually do removable striking. You can actually put little clips on the ground, you can clip in the strikes and unclip them. So actually see, but there's a lot to that topic.
Keep that in April, make sure we don't cover that aspect of it. But yeah, you would do.
Any further questions?
I have one from the staff.
Okay, please go.
So, we want to, let the PRC know, which is an update and an item to place on the agenda here, is related to park rangers. So the city currently has a contract with a company that does park ranger services. It's really focused on Bedwell Bay Park, and it was part of, 5-6 years ago, it was set up as a way to provide education and, for lack of a better term, some enforcement out of the park, just because it's pretty remote and it's actually adjacent to a wildlife refuge. So that contract is coming up for its expiry, and it had been managed by Public Works up to this point. But, in discussion with our friends in the Public Works Department, I think we're leaning toward library community services taking on the park ranger aspect going forward. I believe the current agreement runs out in June, so we're preparing to do a request for proposals for park ranger services. We'd like to bring that to the commission. I think I'd like to maybe tentatively, just peg it in, April, just so that we keep track of it. I think kind of, we need to have the review by April because we want to get the RFP in the field. But I just wanted to add it to the list here so that the PRC can have a look at that. Like what would we be looking for from a park ranger? A vendor that provides that service. And again, it would be specific to Federal Bayfront. However, there may be other needs for park rangers around town. There currently aren't resources to expand it, but if there's a need, we should look at it. And then if it's determined that we should expand it to other parks, a couple things that have come up repeatedly are like dog parks. And also we've had some occasional issues with athletic fields where unauthorized users take over the field and the users who had rented the field show up. And so there's some things that park rangers could maybe do in other parks, besides Gumbo Bayfront. So if the commission, agrees, we'd like to put that on your docket. For now, maybe.
Under what authority do park rangers currently work?
Park rangers?
Yeah, the what authority?
Well,
And
they
if-
are
if-
under contract.
If there's an enforcement issue, then how and what authority do they enforce it?
Yeah, there are able to issue citations through the agreement, so it could be things like littering or, say, out in, like having a dog out in the wildlife preserve. That's the one. And it's delegated to them through, kind of like you might hire an agency to help with parking enforcement, for example. Yeah, that limited, if it were to go beyond what's defined in their contract, they would just contact the police there. Yeah. Or animal control.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, would any commissioner like to make a short report out on items of interest to the entire commission on the agenda? That will adjourn the meeting at 7 o'clock. Thank you.
Thank you very much.